All right, and we back. Gonna talk a little about college football. Obviously, the playoffs start this Friday. If you're watching this, within the first couple days of this video coming out, if not, they've already started. And obviously, bowl season is starting or has started by the time you've seen this. But we're going to talk specifically about the non-playoff bowls and the impact that they're going to have. Obviously, I think the committee nailed the 12-team playoff. Obviously, I don't necessarily think Clemson was deserving of a spot, but when you win, the ACC, you do get that spot, and that's just the reality of it. The expansion of college football, has been a great thing. I love the 12-team playoff. I think that, again, the committee nailed it. But I think what's important is for some of these group of 5 teams, we have new teams like a James Madison and a Sam Houston who are competing for their first bowl game at the FBS level. James Madison taking on, I'm looking at it here, Western Kentucky. They're 7-point favorites. They actually play Wednesday the 18th in the Boca Raton Bowl. I think James Madison's going to win. I don't think it's a 7-point game. I think Western Kentucky covers. That's a different story. But I still think James Madison wins, gets their first bowl win in FBS and program history. And the other one, Thursday the 19th, Sam Houston takes on Georgia Southern. They are Georgia Southern is 6-point favorites, but I think Sam Houston wins this outright in the Arnell Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Again, the betting and the favorites and the point spreads, that doesn't necessarily matter. I think it'll be huge for college football, and I think it'll be cool to see 2 teams that have never made a bowl game, or never won a bowl game, if they could potentially both get there first, because those are the 2 teams that have never done it, get there first. I think they go 2 for 2. Next up, I think the ACC has a chance to really put on a show in bowl season. I mean, just looking at, I'm going to read them off. I have them on my phone here. Just looking at the teams that are playing in bowl games. Cal plays number 24 UNLV in the Art of Sport LA Bowl on Wednesday the 18th. They have a chance to win that game. UNLV's only favored by 1. I think UNLV wins this game. But if Cal can win this, that'd be a huge win for a program that really spiraled down the stretch. Obviously, SMU's in the playoff going against Penn State on the road. I think Penn State wins that game. But if you told me SMU did, I wouldn't be terribly shocked. Obviously, Clemson's playing Texas. I would be kind of shocked if I wouldn't say shocked, but I think Texas is going to win this one. They have to go to Texas. It's not going to be an easy game. But if they did that, that would be a hell of a shocker for the Tigers. Pitt's taking on Toledo in the game of a sports bowl. I think Pitt wins this game. Again, this is just another team that they spiraled down the stretch. They have a chance to right the ship and get ready to go going into next season. Georgia Tech's taking on Vanderbilt in the Birmingham Bowl. I think Georgia Tech wins that game. Number 21, Syracuse takes on Washington State in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. I think Syracuse wins that game. They get a 10-win season in Fran Brown's first year. Even if they don't, 9-4, nothing to scoff at. UConn's taking on North Carolina. I know North Carolina's favored. If they could win that, that'd give them some momentum going into the Bill Belichick era. UConn was a good team this season. North Carolina kind of spiraled. Boston College takes on Nebraska. I think they win that game in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Number 18, Iowa State versus number 13, Miami. I think Miami wins that game in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That would be awesome. I love the Pop-Tarts Bowl. The marketing they've done around that is incredible. NC State takes on East Carolina. I know NC State's favored, but I think if they can win that game, that'd be huge for that program. Obviously, the Go Bowling Military Bowl. Louisville takes on Washington, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I think Louisville wins that game. 9 wins for this team would be awesome. Duke takes on number 14 Ole Miss in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Duke is not favored. I think Ole Miss is 15-point favorites almost. Ole Miss is probably going to win this game, but if Duke would win that, that would be a massive upset for Manny Diaz. And then Minnesota takes on Virginia Tech. I think Minnesota wins that game, but Virginia Tech's a good team. And if they can put on a show, especially in the playoff, and make a deep run or have a bunch of these bowl games, that would be awesome for the ACC. The ACC was a very big punching bag this season. So was the Big 12, but the ACC, obviously Florida State's demise, Miami fell apart down the stretch. SMU joining the conference from the American and winning the ACC in its first season. I mean, it's kind of a punching bag, but I think they can put on a real showcase here in bowl season. Next up is, I want to talk about Florida. Florida plays Tulane, and I believe it's the Gasparilla Bowl. Yeah, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. They're taking on Tulane. Tulane, obviously, without their starting quarterback. Florida is 14-point favorites. I don't even know if I would pick Florida over Tulane. But Florida, if they win this game, even if they don't, 7-6 with this schedule, they had probably the toughest schedule in the country. If they can get 8 wins with this schedule, that would be super impressive. I know and a bunch of other people counted Billy Napier out, thought he was going to get fired. And in going into November, he was 4-5, and even that was impressive. But DJ Lagway has been awesome. The recruiting staff, I'm looking at it here, they're 11th nationally. This team has a chance to be dangerous going into next season. Next up, I want to talk about another SEC team in Oklahoma. Obviously, Jackson Arnold at this point, if you don't know that, he's already transferred and committed to Auburn, so that'll be interesting, which means you wonder how Michael Hawkins plays. Oklahoma takes on Navy in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. They're 7-point favorites. I do think Navy's going to win this game. However, just like Jackson Arnold did last year when they played Arizona in their bowl game, Jackson Arnold kind of showed out and showed out. I don't know the saying. Showed up and showed out. in that bowl game, and that gave them confidence with him going into the season. I think Michael Hawkins does the same thing. Obviously, Oklahoma are going to look for the quarterback. This is a chance for Oklahoma and for Michael Hawkins to stake his claim to the OU starting job next season. I think he's going to come out and have a great game. Navy's defense is good, but they're not great. I think Oklahoma has a chance to really, I don't necessarily know if they'll win this game. They might. I mean, there's obviously always a chance, but even if they don't, I think Michael Hawkins has a chance to come in, show out, and stake his claim to the OU quarterback job for the 2025 season. And finally, the SEC. I think the SEC has a chance, not necessarily to run the table, especially in the college football playoff, but they have a chance to win a lot of bowl games. Tulane plays Florida. I think Tulane wins that game, but Florida is favored for a reason. Clemson takes on Texas in that first round. Texas, I think, is going to win that game. Tennessee takes on Ohio State. They do have to go on the road, but again, it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world to me to see Tennessee win that game. We just talked about Oklahoma Navy. I think Navy's going to win, but Oklahoma is favored for a reason. We talked about Georgia Tech Vanderbilt earlier. Vanderbilt's a good team. I think Georgia Tech wins, but Vanderbilt has a chance to win that game and go to 7-6. Texas Tech takes on Arkansas. Arkansas is favored. I don't see it, but again, these SEC teams, they play a tough schedule, so their records aren't as good as most people think. USC takes on Texas A&M in the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. I think Texas A&M wins that game handedly. They're 3.5-point favorites. I think they cover that easily. Iowa takes on number 19 Missouri in the Perfect Music City Bowl. I think Missouri wins that, as much as it fucking pains me to say that. I think it's closer than most people realize. That's a 3-point spread. I don't know if they cover that. I think that legitimately could be like a 14-13 game. But nonetheless, number 11 Alabama takes on Michigan in the ReliaQuest Bowl. I think Alabama, they're 10.5-point favorites. I think Michigan just has a chance to muck it up, but I think Alabama wins that game. South Carolina takes Illinois. I have South Carolina winning that game. That's actually in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That's going to be a good game, but again, I think South Carolina wins it. Baylor takes on LSU. LSU's favored. I totally understand in a Kinder's Texas Bowl. I think LSU wins it, but again, and that doesn't even mention Georgia or any potential playoff games down the stretch. Duke plays Ole Miss. Ole Miss is almost 15-point favorites. We talked about that. I think they win that game. And then, obviously, the college football playoff. It's going to be interesting. I'll probably do a video about the college football playoff if I can get it out before the college football playoff starts. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, especially these first-round games. We'll talk about that later. If you enjoyed this, make sure I just want to get this out and kind of talk about some of the things that I was thinking about when I was looking at some of these bowl matchups and things like that as well. If you enjoyed, make sure to comment down below what you want me to do next. Make sure to comment down below what you think about the college football playoff and the bowl games. And if YouTube thinks you're going to like this video, find out if they're right.